I work for a company called beActive, and we're from Portugal. And what we do is that we create transmedia contents for internet, TV, film. And I'm going to talk to you about two projects we developed. One is called Sofia's Diary, and the other one is called Final Punishment. We start with Sofia's Diary because it was our first major project, and it was eventually bought by Sony Pictures and Television in the US. So Sofia's Diary was the diary of a 15-year-old girl. And in 2003, which was where we started this project, it was a really new thing on the market because it was interactive, meaning that every day on the website, Sofia would post a page of her diary, and at the end she would leave a dilemma. So people could help her decide what to do the next day. For example, she would post, tomorrow I have a test, my boyfriend invited me to go out with him to the movies. Should I stay home studying or should I go out with him? And on the next day, she would post the result of the voting from the users that went to the website. So the story is told in real time, so the posts were done every day. And Sofia was a regular girl, the girl that could go to school with you or your kids. We really when we started Sofia's Diary in Portugal, the thing we felt was that all the contents that were available for teenagers were not enough, meaning that the characters wouldn't grow up with the audience, the characters wouldn't do things that the audience related to. So we decided to create a character that was similar to every kid in school, but that was so real that kids believed that Sofia was not an actress, but she was a real person telling her story every day on the internet, on TV, on a radio show. So that's why we decided to do it with interactivity. The main features of Sofia's Diary were it was real. It was told in real time. We were present in every media available at the time, meaning the internet, TV, mobile phones. We even had a magazine dedicated exclusively to Sofia's Diary world. And it was emotional. Every time, if the users registered for the mobile service, they would get a personalized SMS saying, "Hello, so-and-so, how are you? My day's crappy, so don't miss my show tonight on TV because I'm going to tell you all about it." And the users feel that they can help the characters, they can be part of their world, so that was the main feature. So we started in Portugal in January 2003. We developed a website, and we asked the participants to have a say in the story, give us feedback about what they were reading on Sofia's Diary, so we could get them into the story and have them help us develop the story with things that they would like to see. Then we had the mobile service where you could register, get SMSs from Sofia, eventually MMSs during the day where she was with her friends. She would send MMS to the people registered. We partnered with a portal, so we had the website. Then we could publicize all the TV shows, the magazines, everything related to Sofia's Diary was based on the website. So this would be a schedule of what we would do in a day in Sofia's Diary. So you would get a teaser for the TV show. At the end of the day, there would be a 4 to 5 minute episode on TV, so you could watch what was happening in Sofia's life. You could vote on it. On the next day, you could watch what was going to happen. So it was quite present in the user's life every day. Every time I come to one of these events, people ask me for some figures. So We started in January, and we had more than 200,000 visitors a month, which for Portugal is quite good. The fourth season, broadcasted in 2007, had 34% of share. We were the top 3 of one of the main Portuguese channels on TV. We were the #1 content in the main portal for videos in Portugal. We were the second best-selling book in Portugal after Harry Potter. So if we vanished Harry Potter from the market, we would be the ones selling the most. So Sofia's Diary spread all over the media you had available, like the internet, magazines, TV, radios. Then we developed a collection of books. We wrote 13 books between 2003 and 2007. We had the DVD with the TV series launched in Portugal. We had the original soundtrack CDs, and we eventually created licensed products such as underwear. Go figure. And it's sold. So in 2004, we went to MIP in Cannes, and Sony called us the day before the market started and said, look, we're calling from the US, we're calling from Sony Pictures and Television, and we want to buy Sofia's Diary format. And we were like, yeah, it's a prank call, okay. We didn't believe it. So the next day, they made an appointment with us, and they bought the format, and they have worldwide rights for the TV, for the format, for Sofia's Diary. We developed the series in Portugal, in Brazil, in Vietnam, and in Germany. And all of the other versions were developed by Sony Pictures and Television. The most famous is the UK's version. And there's also a Sofia's Diary in China. And talking about China, there's a video I want to show you.
The Martin Lindstrom Video Report. New and innovative ways of building brands.
When you think about product placement, I'm sure you think about the TV or you think about the movies. Forget everything about that, because this week I'm in China, and this is where the next generation of product placement is taking place. Yes, it's not taking place on TV, it takes place on the internet. One of the most popular TV shows ever is not a TV show, it's actually just an online show instead. It is a soap opera, and right now, it's just right now running with its 40th episode on the internet. It's called Lucy's Diary. Originally came from Portugal in 2003, and now it's migrated here to Asia. And what's so fascinating about this particular show is that consumers are truly interacting with this thing. What that actually means is that consumers here in China are directing what Lucy is doing on this show every day. And yes, it has 20 million viewers, or the same as around 500,000 viewers every day watching Lucy's Diary. What can we learn from this show? Well, I think there's one thing we can learn, because one of the biggest sponsors so far is Estée Lauder, and they have a product called Clinique. And Clinique has basically gained an enormous amount of attention because of the product placement. And why? Well, because they were truly interactive. In fact, when Lucy went to the counter to buy cosmetic products, she went to the Clinique counter. And not only that, she did something else. She actually were interacting with her friends about the Clinique products. So what can we learn as advertisers about the immensely success here in China? I think there's 3 points. Point number 1, when people are watching the show, they actually can interact with the character on the time. And that means that, for example, voting, would you like Lucy to go down to the Clinique cosmetic counter, or would you like her to go to a fashion design show? Well, guess what? The viewers are deciding, and because of that, they're truly interacting with the brand. And that's one of the reasons why Estée Lauder and Clinique is gaining so much from this particular product placement. Now that leads me to point number 2. What's interesting about this show is that actually it is the next generation of product placement, where the products are really in the center, and the show is written around the product. That means they start with each of the different brands, and then they say, how can we write a great story around that rather than just placing a product into the particular show? And that is the reason why, really, it makes sense that the brand is taking a role in that show rather than opposite. Now, point number 3 is interesting too, because this is not just a one-off shot. So far, they've had 40 episodes and probably will continue for a long time. It is an interesting story because it basically means that in the future, if you really want to build a brand, it has to be a TV series or an online series where you start to gain a relationship with the consumer and you start to gain a relationship with the brand. And that's exactly the reason why Clinique has seen such an amazing success with the brand here in Asia. It is a small story about how product placement is now migrating, and what's interesting is that right now an average young consumer here in China is watching 11 hours of TV every week, but 16 hours on the internet, and this is just the beginning. In fact, most experts here in China are saying that 5 years from now you won't see any banner ads, and probably most of the product placement will not take place on TV. It will all take place on the internet, and most of it will be truly interactive. I'll jump on another plane as usual, but see you next week where I'm going to explore new and innovative ways of building brands.
The Martin Lindstrom Video Report.
So, as you could see, Sofia's Diary brought a new challenge to advertisers in Portugal, given it started in Portugal, because they now can advertise their products online, which is where most teenagers spend their time watching the contents. So it was a challenge to understand how the brands could fit into the content, and also how could we make them subtle instead of, here, buy this, this is good, because teenagers don't like that kind of interaction. So Sofia's Diary made a lot of news on the UK. In the UK, it was quite different from Portugal. The production was coordinated by Sony Pictures and Television. We were invited to develop the first scripts with them and organize all the production. And in the UK, it was distributed by Bibo, and it was online available to the UK, Ireland, and Australia. So we had 15 million viewers in 12 months on the internet, which was the first series of Sofia's Diary. The show was #2 on Fiverr, the TV channel, and we produced 3 seasons of the show. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, here's a video explaining what Sofia's Diary.
Hi, I'm Sofia. I blew up the chemistry lab of my old school. I didn't mean it. I was angry because I caught Trisha kissing my boyfriend. Okay, I can't lie to you. The real send-off came when Mum found some ecstasy tablets in my bedroom drawer. That was when she decided she just didn't know what the bloody hell to do with me anymore. So she sent me to London to live with Dad and his new wife and darling baby. Wait, you see me? Oh, get over it!
No, you get over it, Sofia! You've given us absolutely nothing. You act like you're the only teenager who's ever had to live in a new place and try something new. Honestly, Sofia. Grow up. Go.
You can't have hot and then cold. There's got to be warm in between. London's not all that great. And going to a new school is a drag. Oh! Sorry.
Sorry, babes, was that yours?
I'm Jill. We kind of met the other day, and this is Sean.
And Dad is making me work at his crummy magazine. Grand sugar-free vanilla latte.
Almost there. Read my lips. Grand, skinny, sugar-free, vanilla latte.
Still, it might have some perks.
All we need to do is make sure that they don't use that dress on the photo shoot, okay?
Yes, and all we need to do is stop the world from rotating.
I don't think now's the time to be worrying what I look like.
Sweet David Copperfield, I thought that was an optical illusion. Well, the theme is black and bold. So why don't you just go for the whole burnt motif? Or call the London Fire Brigade. Firemen.
Thank God for modern technology, so I can stay in touch with Joe. This is my new life now, and this is never gonna work.
Are we going to have a problem, Sophia?
So, Sophia's diary was more than a content, it was an experience for the user. In the UK, it was distributed on the internet, as I said, on Bebo. It was available by SMS alerts, as it was in Portugal. It was completely funded by advertisers. We had another way of doing the magazine thing in the UK. Instead of having a magazine dedicated to Sophia's diary, we published an article on a teenage magazine in the UK. We had the books published by Penguin Books. The DVDs were released with a TV series. We had a radio show. So it was very similar to Portugal, but the numbers of viewers were totally different. So this is Sophia's diary, which was our first experience on the transmedia or interactive content field. Then we had Final Punishment. We developed it in Brazil. We first wrote the script in Portugal, and we were supposed to develop the script as a thriller horror movie in Portugal, but nobody wanted to sponsor it, so it stayed in the drawer for a couple of years. And then we decided to try it in a different way. So before I start the presentation,
hundreds of inmates are found dead in their prison cells each year. The major cause of death, unnatural. A nightmare vision of punishment, a private version of hell. We'll take you within the walls of one of those prisons. This is the starting line for a gripping mockumentary series broadcast on the Brazilian OITV and extended with an engaging alternate reality game that blurred the lines between fiction and true events. beActive presents Final Punishment.
But let's start from the beginning. Fake headlines and articles on the main Brazilian newspapers and websites reported the opening of a high-tech prison facility equipped with the latest surveillance technology. A prison so secure it would be impossible for inmates to escape. However, a few days later, breaking news about a group of hackers who were able to access the sophisticated computer system, compromised the prison security, and unraveled an ugly and terrifying truth. The surveillance cameras revealed 8 women trapped in one of the prison corridors, completely cut off from the outside world. The discovery got even more disturbing when dead bodies started to appear on the footage. The murdering ritual seemed to take place every night, killing one of the women in the same way she committed her crime. Was it real? Could it be possible to do more than helplessly witness those murders?
The headlines about the new high-security prison directed the users to a fake website. Coincidentally, when the hackers accessed the computer system, the website stopped working. As users entered the site, it suddenly disintegrated, leaving a page split into 9 screens with live footage from the prison surveillance cameras. Caught up in this headline story, the users had access to what was happening inside the prison. They were instructed to find the password that could open the prison door and save the women from certain death. However, the longer they took, the higher the body count got. To find the password as quickly as possible, the users had to investigate the past of each woman and search for clues, accessing fake old newspaper articles, emails, blogs, websites, confessional videos, Flickr photos, social networking profiles, and any other available source.
Associated with extensive media publicity and the clue hunting process, a widespread community grew around Final Punishment. From Facebook and Twitter profiles to YouTube channels, chat rooms, and social media applications, the users actively interacted with the content and with each other, exchanging theories, discovering embedded clues, and building a fan network. Offline, the fans gathered at strategic meeting points. The game instructed them to go looking for important information at a specific time and place. Fake press conferences and even music concerts were used as a pretext for the ongoing hunt for clues. Additional interaction was introduced by special events, such as a screaming competition. Fans were invited to send their own scary scream videos, as well as winning amazing gadgets. The selected participants had access to new hints.
The mystery behind Final Punishment would finally be solved by adding 2 additional windows for content access. On one hand, mobile phones, voicemail services, IVR services, SMS broadcast services, a WAP site, and short videos with clues to solve the puzzles. On the other hand, the TV broadcast of the 4-part mockumentary with footage from the surveillance cameras inside the prison block. The TV mockumentary would finally reveal what really happened at the high-security prison and provide the final digits for entering the correct password and save the remaining inmates. A thriller series, an online story, an alternate reality game. Final Punishment.
Final Punishment was a little bit different from what we did with Sophie's Diary, as I told you. Not for teenagers at all. The target was 18-25, 18-30. What we did with Final Punishment was we wrote it as a feature film script to develop in Portugal, but then, as I said, it was in the draw for 2 years. And we went to Brazil and we heard about Oi, which is a mobile phone network in Brazil. They started having 2 more services. Apart from the mobile service, they were having the internet, the mobile internet service, and also the TV channel, or the TV service. And they wanted to have a content that would help them get customers and also make some buzz about that, about those 3 features of their service. So we said, well, why not present this and give it another twist, meaning adapting the content to the services they wanted to develop. So what we did was we got the script and we looked at it and said, what can we do to make this interactive, to make this more appealing to the user, and to make it appealing to the customer? What can we bring to the services they are developing that can be good for the 3 parts: the user, the client, and us, beActive as a content developer. So we decided to present it, and they said, well, it's interesting, but we're not sure. So to convince them, we had to present them all the things that we were wanting to develop regarding that project. So we created the Bible of the project. this is what we missed in Sofia's diary when we started developing it in Portugal, because the Bible has everything that you want to do with a project. All the contents are there, all the image, all the footage that you want to do, everything has to be there. It's your guide. It's the thing that you take home at the end of the day and you read before falling asleep at night. So, you can't work without the Bible on a transmedia project, like Sofia's Diary or Final Punishment, and everything has to be in there. And you have to analyze all the media available to your project, meaning, for example, the webisodes, the TV series, the film, the books, the Twitter accounts, the Facebook accounts, everything that you can develop to add to that story. You should think about it, put it on the Bible, and decide, does this make sense on this project? Can I do this on this way? Because telling a transmedia story is not only telling a story in the traditional way, it's bringing something new. It's making it an experience for the user. So our strategy is to develop this in 3 stages. So first you develop the web channel, the website, the web series, the blog, and the social media pages. Meaning that you're creating a community before you launch the main feature of your project. Then you go from the web series to the TV series, you create the radio show or the articles in the newspaper, and you find partners to develop the books, the comic books, for example, in other cases, the case of Final Punishment. And you analyze how you can create a more interesting experience for mobile phone users. Okay? Then on a 3rd stage, you got all your advertisers with you, so you have a higher budget to develop a better TV series. You can produce a feature film. You organize live events, which usually work very well because people want to be in the story. They want to meet the characters. They want to be in their world, so they all come to your event. You license your brand, and then Sony Pictures calls your office. So the challenge here is how to manage everybody involved in the project, and how to define a marketing strategy. That is the most difficult thing. And then how to plan how everything is going to happen and when. Because if you go for the project without having it planned and scheduled, it's going to be a huge mess. So, as I said, the Bible is your companion, and you need to have someone who is in charge of the whole project, who we call the showrunner. So this person knows everything that is going to happen. This person knows when it's going to happen and how. And that person makes it happen, okay? So what I said before, in a traditional way, you tell stories, and that's it. You tell the story and it's over. When you're creating a transmedia content, you're creating an experience for the user. So you have to have all the elements in your head, and they all happen at the same time, but they tell different parts of the story. So for the user, this is about intimacy. This is about the characters becoming part of their lives. This is about being able to be part of the story. And this is about having the story available to you at any time, anywhere in your daily lives. To make it work, you have to be original. You don't have to have an amazing idea. You can have a good idea, not something that is genius, but if you tell it in an original way, if it's different from the way everybody has told that story, it's going to work because it's different. So think about characters that people can relate to, about stories that people can believe in, or even if there's something that it's not very real, make it real. If the characters are real, the story will be real. So, talking about Final Punishment. It was launched in Brazil in 2009. It premiered in the Film Festival in Rio de Janeiro in October. And then we went to the website, we went to the mobile content, to the TV, and we created an alternative reality game that lasted for 8 weeks, where eventually the users could save one of the characters from dying. As I told you, this started as a pitching session at the Oi Telecom office, and one of the things that they asked was, are people really going to be interested in women in prison? They are criminals. How can people relate to those women? And so, yeah, another thing is, and it came to our mind afterwards, was, okay, they are criminals, and plus, if you read a newspaper in Brazil every day, there are lots of stories about people getting killed, about people that killed someone. So how can this be interesting for the user? How can I relate as a participant to these women? If you can save them, probably it will make it more interesting. And if you tell their story, not the crime, but their story behind the crime, probably people will start looking at them as really human beings that have a tragic story in their life and something happened and they're in prison now. So the first thing, the ARG was basically save the women. You're allowed to save them. You get the chance to take them out from prison and save their lives. So for the ARG, we developed a series of extra contents, like videos, like confessional videos for the women, interviews with the prison psychiatrist, interviews with their family and friends. So with all the clues they were getting, they could eventually save the women. Sorry. So this is how it worked for Final Punishment. We had the website for the prison. We had the website for the hackers. We had the journalists covering the story of the women who had a blog. Then you could go to the YouTube channel, or you could find all the videos. If you registered on the mobile content service, you could have access to exclusive videos and exclusive contents. So then we went to before releasing the project, we did the planning. So everything had a date. Everything had to happen in that specific time. So this is like a list of everything we did regarding the project. This is a small list because if I have here, this is our planning, and this is like the SMS planning, the MMS planning, the videos planning, the ARG planning. So these are only 4 sheets. We had like hundreds of them. The additional content always works. That's what people want to have, exclusive access to exclusive things that other users don't have. So the ARG would give them exclusive access. The registering on the website would give them exclusive access to all kinds of things. And all the content produced for the show is here. We had a feature film, we had a TV show, we had a DVD, a web video, a mobile video, 8 episodes, episodes, sorry. We had 2 mobile games, we had Facebook and Orkut accounts. Orkut is the same for Facebook, and it's similar to Facebook in Brazil, but it's bigger than Facebook. We had Twitter and Facebook profiles. We had Flickr profile. We had blogs. We had a world created just for this. What worked really well was a partnership we had with bloggers that were contacted to come to the office with us, and we worked together with them to understand what would work better for the user in this kind of project. So what would the user want to see? What would the user want to do to interact with the story? The make it personal thing that worked really well with Sofia's Diary also worked really well here, because if you're given the chance to save someone, you're going to take it because you're going to be a hero. The focus on the video elements was our main focus. 90% of the project was based on videos. We had some challenges. The ARG game didn't work as well as we were expecting, because people, when they're playing, they want to spend hours and hours and hours, and a fair amount of time playing, and the ARG only gave them like a clue a day for 8 weeks. So it was not as participative as we were expecting. The social media services, we were trying to understand how the applications worked for Facebook and how the applications worked for Orkut. So it was too much to manage, but we eventually realized that keeping it simple on Facebook and Orkut would be the best. And shooting 100 meters from a favela in Brazil, it's quite an adventure every day, because you don't know if you get to the set and the equipment is there, or if it has been robbed and you need to negotiate with the people from the favela to get it back so you can work. And that's it. If you have any questions, I'm available.